You Can't Take It With You was released in 1938 and it picked up the Best Picture Academy Award in 1939. It stars Jean Arthur, James Stewart and Lionel Barrymore. It's also directed by Frank Capra, one of my favourite directors of the era. He made It's a Wonderful Life, one of my all-time favourites and definitely my favourite Christmas movie. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, and he also picked up the Best Picture for It Happened One Night. So yeah, a lot of expectation going into this, got to be said, because as I say, some of the movies I've just listed are some of my all-time favourites. This film follows the story of Alice, played by Arthur, and Tony, played by Stewart, as they kind of start to have a bit of a Romeo and Juliet romance. Basically, they're on completely different sides of the tracks. She is from a much more lower class, poorer kind of neighbourhood. He is the son of one of the highest flying business moguls, bankers in the world, quite frankly. A banker who is about to broker a deal that should see Alice moved out of her home, should he be able to actually get hold of her house, which belongs to her grandfather. Now, she lives with a huge family and a huge network of friends, basically strays. Her grandfather, played by Barrymore, is this guy who just brings everyone in. It just is the guy that everyone in the street knows. He's there for everyone. He cares very little about material wealth, and a lot more about just the relationships of the people he has around him. Complete disparity to Tony's father, who's just all about the money, all about the business deals. That's it. Where does the film go with that? Well, I think to fairly obvious places. You know, to anyone who's ever seen a Frank Capra film, you're probably going to have a pretty good idea from the offset as to where this is going to end up. That ain't a bad thing. Predictability isn't so much the problem as how you go about showing us the story that we know has the inevitable outcome. And I like what Frank Capra does. I like his style, I like his shtick, I like his schmaltz. He does cheese in the best possible sense. The kind that just makes the world feel like it's a better place. You know, if everyone could live like they're in a Capra film, the world would be a better place. There's no surprises here, really, in that regard, but I do like the characters, particularly Barrymore's character. Lionel Barrymore is an actor that's really surprised me of late. I saw him in Grand Hotel and didn't recognise him at all as being the grumpy Scrooge character from It's a Wonderful Life. You know, I'd only ever known him from It's a Wonderful Life, so when his name popped up in Grand Hotel, it didn't occur to me that's who it was. I went into this film knowing who he was. Oh, okay, Barrymore's in this. Let's see what he does. And again, he delivers a completely different performance, somewhere between the two. He's become like one of my favourite actors of the era. He's got a lot of charm here as the nice man at the end of the street that just wants to lighten everyone's day and lighten everyone's load and brighten their day. I like him here. Very likeable character. Stewart as well, doing what Stewart does with that everyman quality about him. I root for the romance between him and Jean Arthur's character. I love Jean Arthur. I thought she was great in Mr. Deeds Goes to Town and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. She was really fiery in both of those films. I think she's a bit softer here, but she's still got that edge. She still knows how to give as good as she gets when she needs to. It's that quality that kind of really endears me to her. So from a performance standpoint, everyone in this is really great to watch, really fun to watch. I would say that there are a few moments of kind of farcical humour that Capra's guilty of going into quite often. I would say here that there are times when it does grate a little bit. There's this one character who's an inventor. Barrymore's character kind of talks to him when he's working and essentially convinces him to leave his job. and to go and do something he enjoys doing rather than crunching numbers all day. And he does. And when he goes and lives with Barrymore's family and friends, this group of people that he's kind of brought together, there's a few moments there where they go for the humour, but it's a bit farcical, and that character in particular, his reactions to things, a little bit over the top, and it's almost like he's looking at the audience going, yes, now you need to laugh because this is funny. And it's stuff like that where I'm like, yeah, all right, I could do without that. Is this a Best Picture winner? Like, is it worthy of Best Picture? It's a question I always ask. On this occasion, and it pains me to say this, I would probably say no. It's often the case that with directors you love, it's the films that they've done that you love that don't get the Best Picture, and then they end up getting it for something that was like, all right, it's not their finest. Like, for me personally, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, that's a Best Picture winner, except it isn't. And yet, you can't take it with you, gets it. Now, I don't say that to dismiss the film, because I did really like it. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride. Despite its predictability, despite some of the more like grating, farcical humour tropes, I liked the characters. I liked the way they're painted, and the film does do a really good job, I think, of looking at notions that are still very relevant today, still talked about today in very much the same way. That like chasing money all your life is ultimately going to end in ruin of the soul. You don't make that many friends by pursuing money. The love of money is the root of all evil, as I say. It's not money that's the root of all evil, but the love of it. And yeah, when someone is so caught up in chasing money rather than just, looking at the relationships they have in their life, that sounds a bit twee, it sounds a bit, oh yeah, old hat, but it's just a basic, simple truth. The poorest of men, the men that are most destitute, can still be the most richest at heart if they have friends. And you can say that's soppy, whatever, it's true. So I really liked this film. Did I love it? Probably not, but it's very, very solid, very good, and I probably will watch it again. As a Capra fan, it's not top tier Capra for me, from the ones I've watched, but by anybody else's standards of the day, the films of the day, it's really good stuff. Have you seen it? That's the question. And if you have seen it, what did you think about it? Do you think that You Can't Take It With You is a worthy Best Picture Oscar winner? If so, let me know down in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this review, and until next time, cracking.